Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. So, good things happening today. So, the first thing is starting to get some bearings in because we are going to refresh all of our bearings. So, I did get our rather large outdrive bearings in. So, got plenty of those, and they feel smooth. Definitely probably feel better than what's in there. So, the remaining bearings show up near the end of this week. It looks like they ship, but probably take a couple more days to get here. And then wanted to update everybody on everything else. So our JC arms came in. So super quick shipping, took about a week. Got one pair already on our car, and fitment quality is great. So that's a welcome sign. Fit great with our Sabula from Bulkhead. They do need to break in just a tad, but they'll break in just fine. So that's great. But one thing did just want to compare is, this is a JC racing arm, and that is the stock graphite Losi arm. So definitely a much thicker, stronger arm, which maybe will help us as far as some of our turning, but everything around like the hinge pins even got more material around it. So that should be a welcome change. And like I said, maybe this being a little bit stiffer will help with turning. I don't know. I know on the B7 running carbon arms helps with it, but we'll see if that works. And so I was just kind of cleaning this thing up after our race day on Saturday. And like I said, it was great. But then the one comment I did make, if you were paying attention, was the steering. That kind of felt vague sometimes, and I really couldn't find anything loose, and I thought it was my steering, and it really wasn't. And what it was, the small washer that you get, these guys right here, there's usually 4 of them on this parts tree because this is a complete bell crane kit because we had to get the servo mounts because this did not have it when I bought it. It was missing the washer on the bottom, so this could flex in and out, front and forward just a little bit. And I think that was what was throwing our steering off a little bit. And I just did not notice it in the pits. As you were if you were turning the rack and everything, it really didn't move that much. And then when I got home, I started to just kind of look at stuff. I was already replacing stuff anyway, obviously with the arms. So I took the whole front end off and noticed that was missing. So put that in there. And that is much, much tighter. And I don't think the steering bell cups are actually worn at all. There's hardly anything, any even marks on them. So I am leaving those because there doesn't seem to be any play. The only play that's in there as you move this back and forth is actually from these ball cups up here, because I don't think those have ever been replaced. And those, you can barely see it, but the ball definitely moves within that ball cup. So I'm going to maybe grab an associated one and gasp, Losi guys, because I don't have the short Losi ball cups, so I'm gonna have to find something else to tighten that up. And then I think that will tighten our steering up in this thing and make that a little bit more direct. So pretty excited that not much of an issue there. So we'll get that replaced as well. I have a molded B5, but I think it's shorter than this, but we'll see. It might be fairly close, but the associates will probably work. So I may look, and if anything, I think we can use the fan ball cups on here as well. So I may dig out just a set of the fan, reuse the threaded rod in the middle, and get those set up on there. And that should be good, I think. I think that will solve it. And then a little update. So Larry Doe is maybe going to have the XX4 ready here in a couple weeks. He was working on the chassis, getting that all done. He's got some motor obscure parts on the way that he's really waiting for. He's got everything else refreshed. Doing some cool stuff. I won't drop too many hints until we get that thing back on this channel. But that should be ready pretty soon. And Larry called dibs on the XX for the vintage race. So we are I know Larry's level, and I will never be at Larry's level when it comes to the craftsmanship and quality that he has. I'm gonna I'm gonna try to get close and just prep this car as good as I can. Like I said, we'll put all new bearings in it for Larry. I did notice like the rear CVDs have just like a little slop in them, so we'll put, when we rebuild, put the bearings in here, we'll add maybe a little bit of a spacer in there to take that slop out. And I think he'll be happy. We'll see. So I'll talk to Larry, see what he wants to do. We may get this car to him a couple days ahead of time. We'll see. I may let him run the yellow wheels and tires. Maybe let him run those Wednesday night. Kind of shake it down, see what he thinks of this thing. Because I did get white wheels. I have brand new tires I'm going to mount, but I did order the white wheels. The fronts I got for $12. The rears I just had to bite it in the ass and pay the $35. So, man, I hope someone reproduces those wheels pretty soon. But at least I got one set of yellows and I got one set of whites, and I don't seem to scuff them up too bad. So, little acetone, we'll have to reuse those until they're unusable. But like I said, I was kind of surprised to see the JC racing arms come in so quick because, like I said, it's been about a week. So, and like I said, these are excellent quality. So, definitely, and we bought JC Racing for our RC10s. All of our long arm conversions, JC Racing, as well on our Dragon Punch. So I shouldn't be surprised, but I was a little surprised because, like I said, the fit, quality, and finish, everything is great on these. So, like I said, got a couple sets of those for spares. So got one in our car. I think we got two in the bag, and then we got just the stock graphite ones. But these aren't too bad at all. They're just like a little discolored, and I'm afraid they're going to be brittle. So what I probably just toss these on eBay, see if a collector wants them. I mean, there's a few little marks here and there, but someone's looking for some graphite arms. Toss them up there and let a collector have them if they're looking for something in a little bit better shape, because these actually aren't too bad. And we're going to run, obviously, the JCs. So, yeah, but other than that, I'm still searching around for more parts. So if anyone knows of more parts that we can hop up our Losi here before the 17th, I'd certainly be looking for it. And like I said, I was almost thinking about doing a big bore conversion on this, but it ran pretty well. Yeah, more on Saturday. So I don't even know if it's even needed to do, or, and like I said, maybe it'd be cool to run it with the small bores and then actually do a big bore conversion on this thing. I know Larry did with his. He had, I think he had associated, we would probably do the right thing and run the Losi 12 mils on these. Just to keep it Losi, keep your Losi all Losi. Save your associated stuff for the trash, whatever. But these shocks feel fairly good. They're not leaking. They're smooth. I can't complain too much of them. I mean, I think, the only bad part is, you shouldn't even say bad, right? It's just the way racing is today. More of the double in front of the driver's stand is not bad. That's actually pretty easy. But with a rear motor vintage car, you gotta land on the downside of all those jumps. And kind of the tabletop jump that they took down, and it's a bigger jump. It definitely takes a little getting used to that. That could end a car's day pretty easy. So, it's not as vintage friendly as I wish, but the car doesn't seem to have a problem. And if you guys watch the videos between this and the B3, the Big 3 does have big bore, so it's a little bit of a cheater car. But they were making it just fine. I mean, I think it's just going to take a decent driver. And like I said, all the guys running my cars are faster than me. So Sam Ford is running our B3. He's an associated driver, has been for a long time, and he has a B3, but has never got it to hold together. So we were going to have him wheel our B3. He's the one that ran the fan graphite and swept every round in the main. at the last vintage race. So we'll toss him the B3, see if that happens. The fan graphite, I don't know. I might run that. Larry's going to run this. And then Mel, one of our viewers, longtime Schumacher guy, is going to run our Shoei. Still waiting on Shoei parts to show up. Should probably see those this week as well. And we'll be able to get that car wrapped up, prepped, and ready to go. Tires and stuff are already mounted for that thing, so that's good to go. I just got to mount up a set on the associated rims and a set on the Losi as soon as those rims come in. So we'll get those mounted up as well. So guys, everyone's got fresh tires and ready to go. So did want to, like I said, give an update because this stuff came in. Did fix our steering problem. So the only thing, just got to replace the servo link in here because I think that's the last piece that's got any slop in it. And I don't know. We may spring for the titanium T-plate in the back that Dragon Punch offers. Other than its trick, I don't know if it'll do really anything else for us. So, but man, I'm liking the Losi, guys. I got to tell you, the only thing I did do today, in all fairness to the B3, was I rewatched the videos of the B3. That car's quick. It's maybe quicker even than the Losi. Because the one thing I didn't realize, or I kind of forgot, was the B3 was in a heat with 7 or 8 cars. And so we were trying to get through traffic, trying to get, through that stuff. But that car was sharp, like it was a little less on edge. It didn't tend to get out of the groove as easy as the Losi did. And I didn't tend to over jump stuff as bad. But even if I did, it was hard to tell because of the big bores, I think. But I did rewatch that video today and I was like, oh, that Epstein didn't hang himself. But the B3 it's a lot better on video than I actually remember it from the driver's stand. So in all fairness to the B3, that car might be tough to beat. Sam Ford might pull another one off, but Larry is every bit of a wheeler as Sam. Obviously been around for a long time, sponsored by Associated this year. But knows the older Losi platforms, and he had a totally tricked out double X that he took to Vintage Nats. And I actually think he had the prototype T-plate from Dragon Punch in his car. It was magnesium, I think. I don't even think it was titanium. But he had some special parts on that car. And like I said, and it had the bigger shocks and everything like that. So we're going to kick Larry back to some antiquated technology. Larry's going back from digital to analog, but we will get the bearings replaced. We'll give him absolutely the best shot of heads up between him and Sam Ford. The only thing he'll be missing on this is the big bores, but like I said, I don't know. I'll talk to Larry, see what he wants to do. I'm not gonna let anyone switch out motors or speed controllers or anything. That is all staying exactly the same. So that's a level playing field. But if Larry wants to throw some big bores on this, I'll let him throw some big bores on this and run it. And then the only thing, had to splurge on the battery heatsink. Oh, sweet. Actually, it's just a hard time for me to pull these out. So, you grab the wire and you're just yanking them out. And I was like, man, the Losi deserves better. And like someone said in the comments, treat the Losi right. Spend some money on the Losi. So we are going to, like I said, we're going to trick this out as much as we can, as much as available. And get this at the same level of everything else. And I think it's getting there. Just like I said, got to replace kind of the steering link for those 2 ball cups. That should save our steering issue, and that's all dialed back in. Our arms are on there, and then a complete swap of bearings, and the bearings will be in there as well. And this thing should be rolling smooth, and like I said, we'll be able to check on any other parts that might be wearing abnormally or anything like that, but I don't think there is, and considering how it ran on Saturday, should be in pretty good shape. But man, I love those arms. Those things look great. So, yeah, we'll continue on with our Losi, but wanted to give everyone an update because I know everybody's just waiting patiently by their YouTube, just waiting for that notification to drop. Saying, man, what's going on with that Losi? Did he fix his steering? Did the JC Racing arms come in? How about them bearings? Well, here's your answer. So, Yeah, wanted to give an update. I don't know if we'll have much more on this. Like I said, I'll be swapping out the bearings, and that's pretty self-explanatory. So, not much to film there, but we'll get the bearing swapped out, and this thing will be ready to go on the 17th. And then as parts come in for our Schumacher, mainly the chassis brace, the shim should be here, I think, Wednesday. So we'll get the shims, the battery posts in, and we'll get that brace in, and then our Cougar's all done as well. That's refreshed from Mel and ready to go. And that's actually the car I'm probably most excited to see out there is the Cougar, because for whatever reason, I think that car should do well. I just have some feeling that it should. I think it's going to be a little bit smoother. Who knows? But anyway, like, comment, subscribe down below. We'll see you on the next one.